Well, what online platform was used by over half of kids in the year of 2020? If you guessed Roblox, you would be correct. And here in this short episode, we're going to answer the question of whether Roblox is safe for kids. And I'm going to steer you toward one of the fundamental questions that you have to answer when it comes to grading any technology, whether it's social media, whether it's game or an online system, and whether that system is safe for children. There's really one question you've got to answer. This is Jason for Soulfire. Here in this channel, we want to offer gospel hope for a porn-filled world. If you're checking this out on YouTube or on the podcast, I've got both platforms and both channels going. Same content, just a different means depending on your preference. Well, one of the challenges for the church in our day is helping people come out of using pornography, but a much better strategy is actually to prevent people from using pornography in the first place, getting hooked, getting addicted to where they then need a lot of help to get out of that. So when it comes to our children, we want to prevent our children from going there. It would be great if our children are never exposed to explicit content. However, that is highly unlikely unless we live in a cave. There's a lot of access and a lot of means for them to fall into some of that content. Now, believe it or not, I have never played Roblox. I am a grown adult who has a job and I have children, so I have not been spending my time on Roblox, but did do a little bit of research. I've got a few quotes here and an article that I will link from the BBC that talks about the answer to this question, whether Roblox is safe for us. But what's interesting is that Roblox itself is not a game, but it is a storefront where you can play a variety of games. And one of the interesting things about Roblox is the games are user generated. In fact, by mid-2021, there were already 20 million user-generated games. So it makes Roblox kind of a unique situation. You can see why kids are fascinated with all the variety and all the options that they can find here on this platform. But right then you can see, well, what if these users aren't generating content that is child safe? And this is where we get into the problem. So I'm going to quote here now from the BBC article. Quote, players can build games using the developer tools which the platform provides. Unlike more traditional games, the content is generated by its users. It's a wildly successful business model, but it comes with problems. Roblox sex games are commonly referred to on the platform as condos. They're spaces generated by users where people can talk about sex and where their avatars can have virtual sex. In these games, Roblox rules are thrown out the window. Now, the good news is that Roblox is actively trying to eliminate these games, but the bad news is they're actually having to be reactive. So they have some software that they're trying to use to prevent this stuff from getting on there, but at the end of the day, it still can make it on there. And speaking of good news, can we get some more good news? If you're finding this video helpful, would you hit the like button? Helps this channel to grow, helps the message to spread. But now we get into the second concern, and this is where I get into the one question you have to answer as to whether a technology platform is safe for your children. Quoting again, particularly worrying is children and adults potentially socializing together in these spaces. Part of the game includes an instant messenger where users can talk to each other and to everyone else playing the game. Much of what is written on chats in the condos is unprintable on a grown-up news website, let alone a children's game. And here is the question you must answer when it comes to whether something like this is safe for your kids. And that question is, who does this platform allow to interact with my children? And if the answer is anyone, well, then we have a problem. Because here on Roblox, your children can interact with adults, which means adults can interact with your children. Now, this is something that is certainly not unique to Roblox. Instagram, for example, has a huge issue with adults' predatory and grooming behavior on young boys and girls that are active on Instagram, particularly with young women in general, receiving messages from grown adult men. That's a significant issue with something like Instagram. Even recently, Facebook, as they're shifting to that metaverse and allowing people to interact in that virtual space, they've already had to put up some, and let me quote here, personal boundary feature. So a personal boundary feature for the metaverse, which is virtual reality. So personal boundaries in the virtual world. Yeah, that's where we are here in 2022, because even they're realizing that it is allowing people a space to reach out and engage with people in a way that they may not particularly desire or want. And Roblox is trying to implement some parental controls, but the question there is, will parents be aware of them? Will they have the tech savvy to be able to put them into place? So what do you think? Is something like Roblox safe for children to use? What are you doing, and what are some ways to maybe make that gaming platform something that they can use in a safe manner? But one of the bigger questions here is, how can we respond to our children? Maybe your children have already stumbled into some of this pornographic or explicit content. How can we respond in a way that is gospel-centered and will give that gospel hope? Well, let me challenge you to check out my video of how to respond to your kids if they've stumbled across pornographic content, because there's one mistake that you don't want to make when it comes to responding to your kids' behavior in this manner. You can either drive them away with how you respond, or you can draw them close to you where you can be that comfort and support that they need to keep them from going back to that content. Well, this is Jason for Soulfire. If you found this video helpful, definitely subscribe if you want to see more content. And would you help me out by sharing this with one friend that you think needs to hear the message in this video? And I will catch you in the next one.